The views expressed are not necessarily those of KSCJ and Powell Broadcasting Company. This program is not intended to replace the advice of doctors or other clinical providers. Consult with your practitioner to ensure the proper course of action for you.
Welcome to When Things Aren't Going Well on AM 1360, FM 94.9 KSCJ. This program is dedicated to your mental health wellness and brought to you by Family Services, a United Way partner agency. Here's your host, Art Silva.
Good morning, Siouxland. I'm Art Silva, and welcome to When Things Aren't Going Well. This show is dedicated to your mental wellness and how you can help yourself navigate the daily highway of life. We hope to educate and motivate you to help improve your mental wellness. Our show is brought to you by Family Services, a United Way partner agency serving the Siouxland community. Our topic today is, it's okay to be single. And joining me today is Brenda Geisinger, Chief Operating Officer of Boys and Girls Home and Family Services, and licensed clinical therapist Rosie Strunk. Good morning, Brenda and Rosie, and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Glad to have you here. So before we get going on this, let's give a little background on both of you. Brenda, give us a little background on yourself.
I am the Chief Operating Officer for the Boys and Girls Home and Family Services. I've been with the agency for 33 years. And kind of
Larry Bird, 33.
Just kind of do my thing of making the day-to-day operations keep going. Rosie?
I'm a clinical therapist, and I've been with the agency 42 years. I think I'm losing count at this point in time.
I 42 and 33. Oh, wow.
That's quite a few years.
We got experience here.
Yeah, and I work with all ages of from adults to children in regards to clinical work for them.
Well, I know that I have had the chance to work with the both of you, and the agency, what an asset we have in the two of you and your length of stay there. It helps with everything because you've seen it all. You've just about seen it all. Then again, sometimes something surprises.
We're always surprised.
There's things that surprise us all the time.
That's good. Well, our topic today, it's okay to be single, and let's frame our topic. Rosie, let me ask you, how do you want to frame this? Is there pressures in being single, or et cetera?
Well, I've had different people that I've had as clients who have come in and have said, sometimes I feel like I can't be single. Like I'm getting all this pressure from everybody to go get married, to, from my mom, my dad, whoever the case might be. And I like to be single. It's okay for me to be single, but they're feeling sometimes this outside pressure from other people. Okay, you have to go do this. You got to go get married. That's like in the script of our life, in a sense, that we, graduate from high school, graduate from college, and then we're supposed to go and get married. And have children and not be single for a while. So I think that that's one of those things that people experience.
One thing on that, getting married, have you noticed the kids or the younger people getting married at an older age? I mean, it was 24, I think, and you get off with a family, and now it's a lot different. I want to get myself squared away before I take on the responsibility of a family. So, yeah, things have changed.
They have. From when I grew up years ago, it was the script. You get married, you have children, etc. Nowadays, it's more open, and it's okay in the sense of it's not like you have to rush and do something like that in the sense of getting married, or if you just want to be single. But it has changed over the years, and we can see that in even some of the movies, the shows, the different kinds of things that are out there nowadays that, they're having TV shows called Single Girl or something like that. And so it's okay in a sense.
Well, let me ask you this. You talk about societal pressures. What's coming up on Valentine's Day? And I wonder what pressure that brings on, or does it bring on pressure being single?
Well, I think it depends upon your singlehood, in a sense, to some degree. So I think it depends upon different things. But what I would say to people, in the sense of if they're single, there's other things that you can do that can help you in regards to having Valentine's Day, because we can connect with people. I think sometimes Valentine's Day is like a commercialized type of experience, And, we should be connecting with people and loving each other every day, in a sense. And so it does offer some pressure. I think it offers more pressure for men because they're supposed to come through and give all these cards and gifts and chocolate and roses and stuff like that. But I do know for some people it can be a challenge for them, particularly if they've lost a spouse or ended a relationship or something. That can be of a challenge for them for the Valentine's Day.
Well, we'll talk to that because I know you have different types of singles, and we'll come back to that in a little bit, but I certainly want to add to that part. Let's discuss a single person's personal happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Is it something that you equate with being single, I'm going to be happy, or being single, I'm going to be sad?
I think it varies from person to person, but I think being single is okay. And you have to find your own interests, explore those. And really, it's about loving yourself. And what are you going to do with your time? What makes you happy? It can be a great opportunity to try a new interest or go travel or whatever the case may be. But it ultimately comes down to, are you happy with yourself? Do you love yourself?
Mm-hmm. And I think the other thing about that is that don't compare yourself to other people. I think sometimes we get into that. We're comparing ourselves to Sally over here or Johnny over here or Gertrude over here, whatever the case is. And I think we need to just be who we are and not compare that we're not like them. But sometimes we find ourselves doing that, particularly on social media. You hear all this stuff. Social media is just an interesting animal sometimes.
Sure. Hey, I'm Art Silva, and you're listening to When Things Aren't Going Well. And with me today from Family Services is Brenda Geisinger and Rosie Strunk. And we're discussing it's okay to be single. Let's discuss the different single types. Rosie?
Well, I think there are people who I would probably refer to as lifelong singles. They just aren't interested in maybe getting married. They're very comfortable with who they are. They're wanting to just live their life in whatever interest that they have. And many times there are a variety of individuals in a sense of a lifelong single kind of stuff. Sometimes it just happens, though, where we end up being a lifelong single, and it just kind of moves itself, and they're comfortable with themselves. They're content, and that's okay.
Got a whole routine built around being single.
They have a whole routine being around single, and they're making connections with other people, doing what their interests are, and just living the good life, as they say.
How about another example?
I think there are singles who are looking for relationships and they just haven't found that special person they want to connect with. And they're exploring themselves and does this person fit with me? There's also being single after a divorce, and that in itself is a whole process of that change in your life and grieving that loss and reconnecting with yourself and maybe quite aren't ready to explore another relationship with a person. And then you can also be single after your significant other has passed. And that's another phase of your life that you're going
that
through.
sucks. I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, I'm dealing with this. This is my first Valentine's Day in about 50 years. And, man, I hope I get that chunky bar. She could always find them. They're hard to find. But anyhow, that's good. So let's go back and talk about that in a little more detail because, singles looking for relationships. There's a lot of dating services out there, and I don't know if they work or not. I'm sure there's good stories and bad stories on it. But is that an option for those looking for relationships?
It becomes more of the, I don't know if it's the norm anymore, but it's happening much, much more where people are doing the dating services, the dating apps, those types of things. And you can, there are good things and there are bad things that come out of that. You have to be very careful about, the connections that you have and as you keep learning about them. But it is one of those things that tends to happen more and more for the dating stuff.
I'm experiencing that right at the death of a spouse or partner, and just be coming up on 1 year in June. But I got to tell you, you have to find something to fill pockets, not your whole life, but pockets of time. And I found out when I'm in the loneliest and try to do something around that time, But I guess you kind of sit and wait and see what happens. Am I interested in going on a dating site? Well, there's Silva singles out there. No, I'm not. But I understand because I'm old school kind of guy. I kind of like wait for that casserole to show up and see how that goes. But anyway, it's an adjustment, and you're filling a space and it's filling time. And I think the first thing for me was to identify those lonely periods and do something in it. So it can be a 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock dinner. That leaves you good for the rest of the night. So it's a whole bunch of things that you can do regarding being single.
I think that's interesting when you talk about pockets of time, because be it with a divorce or a spouse or whatever, those pockets of time where you guys were together or it was just a special time or whatever. I remember when my dad passed away, Sundays was their day to go and drive. And Sunday afternoons for my mother was difficult. And that's those pockets of times of how to fill that in some way. So good point, Art. That's a great idea.
Well, it comes from first-hand experience.
Yes,
so
it does. I'm
share
sure.
it with everybody. You're out there in the same boat. Hey, we're coming up on our break, so thanks for being with us so far this morning. We'll be right back with more of When Things Aren't Going Well right here on KSCJ.
Let's face it, that happens to all of us. However, the pandemic has compounded all of our lives and activities. Even the simplest tasks seem harder. Hi, I'm Brenda Geisinger, the Chief Operating Officer at the Boys and Girls Home and Family Services. Family Services is the United Way partner agency serving children and families of our community, and we're here to help. If you'd like to learn more about Family Services, please contact us via email, website, Facebook, or phone Mary Pickens. At Family Services, we change lives.
Welcome back to When Things Aren't Going Well on KSCJ. Here's Art Silva.
Welcome back to When Things Aren't Going Well. I'm Art Silva along with Brenda Geisinger and Rosie Strunk from Family Services. So let's continue our discussion on it's okay to be single. So let's go to the benefits of being single. Rosie?
Well, there's a lot of benefits if you stop and think about being single. There can be freedom to travel. You have a little bit different freedom to travel because you're not trying to juggle lots of things, in a sense. If you're traveling with friends, it's like, okay, when do we want to go? That kind of stuff. And you can have definitely more me time. You have more time to do the things that you want to do and have more interest in or go and do those interest things, those craft things or whatever it is that you want to do. You can have more interest in stuff. The other thing about benefits is sometimes there's maybe less pressure and there might be less drama in a person's life because you're not dealing with a lot of things around you. It's just you in a sense. So there might be less drama in regards to that.
I always like the fact I can come home and the mess in the house is mine. I don't have to worry about doing the laundry because so-and-so needs something the next day. It's when I want, and I'm okay with that. Or I can eat cereal if I want, or I can make a roast if I want. It's really my choice, or I can watch a football game or a rom-com. It's really up to me, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
And you can be in sweats all day if you want to.
I'll share this with you because, brother, I'm on the same wavelength. You got to do laundry. Buy another week's worth of underwear. What the heck? Then you do it. I got tons of stuff. I'll think I'll do it next week as the thing piles up. Yeah, but you find ways of, you are on. That is a benefit.
It really is.
It is a benefit.
Yep.
Nobody's timetable but your own, and you have just more freedom.
Well, you can spread out.
That's right.
Do whatever you want.
And neither one of you
make
ladies
a mess.
have brought up
Don't
the
have to
toilet
worry
seat
about it.
being, so okay, that's a benefit too. So, what are the challenges of being single?
Well, sometimes the challenge might be financial. Because you're just you in a sense, and when you're with a partner or a spouse or whatever, you have that extra income. So one of the challenges might be financial kind of stuff. Sometimes, the challenge might be you might not have somebody in the sense of coming home kind of stuff.
Yep.
You might not be able to have that person or whatever to share things with that you normally would have, or that not normally, but that you might choose to do. But then it's when you call a friend. But so that might be a challenge in the sense you don't have someone to kind of share things with or cry you're on a shoulder with or something like that. And so you try to figure out other ways of how to accomplish that.
Well, let me ask you ladies this. One of the challenges, I think, is being a fifth wheel. when you
yes.
go out. And that, to me, nice intent, very generous of people, but you feel like a fifth wheel. You want to comment on that?
Well, I think that is something that you learn how to move through.
Gotcha.
I really do think, because it is a common thing. Like when you're single or a spouse is passed away or divorced or whatever, you feel like, gosh, is this going to be the same when I'm with these people or whatever? And I think that you walk through that and you journey through that. You journey through maybe the awkwardness and stuff. But you know what? Your friends are around you and they're going to walk you through it too and have you join. But sometimes sometimes you feel that way, but it can be an awkwardness that you can journey through.
I think the other piece of that, your friends are inviting you and they know you're single. So It's not like awkward for them. They've wanted your presence and want you to be a part of that experience. So it's really you getting comfortable of being around other couples and willing to engage in that experience with them.
You know, I met a lot of my my female friends through their husbands. And over the years, they're like just as good a friend as the husbands are. And they do look out for you and they do care about you. And I think it is part of a learning experience of stepping back out there. But then you kind of find how the conversation goes and it sets up your next steps. This is good. This is not bad, but I need something else. And I think that's all part of this awkwardness of dealing with a change when you've been with a partner for a long time and now you're going out alone.
And I think it's important to do that. Not if somebody invites you to go and go and be in that process in a sense. Because if you avoid it, it's just still there. Yeah. So it's like going through the pocket, as you say, the journey in regards to that. So I would encourage people to still do those things. When you get invited, go.
Go. How do you overcome loneliness being single?
Well, loneliness is about not feeling connected in a sense, and it's a subjective kind of experience. It's in our, I always call it's a frame of mind in a sense, and I think when we overcome loneliness, sometimes we have to take a look at what it is that we're lonely about in a sense. But we can find things to help us. I think you talked about the pocket of time. It's like how we figure out how to fill those times and maybe doing something else that gives us a sense of connectedness in some way, or activity, or that we're feeling good about whatever it is that we're doing. But I think we can all do that. But loneliness is a part of our process too, where we do feel lonely at times, and then we need to make some connections or do something that feels good to us in a sense.
I think it's also important to remember that quite often people who are in a relationship feel lonely. It's not abnormal. And so it's how to get through that for you as a person, what's working and what isn't. And you could be having the same experience if you were in a relationship. So what Rosie was referring to in the first half of comparing yourself, everybody goes through moments of being lonely. And what can you do to help yourself? So it isn't a matter of I'm single and that's why I'm lonely. It could be something else.
You know, something that's always bothered me, I traveled a lot early in my career, and I hated eating alone. That would drive me crazy. I had to get room service and eat in my room as opposed to go downstairs and eat alone. So now I find myself, doggone it, back full circle, eating alone. So one of the things I do is I plan dinner. I have a couple of good friends. We go out, and that's all it takes. It doesn't be every night, but a couple of nights a week, so you know what to compare it to. So, hey, Kevin, I love you, brother. Thanks. We keep doing dinner. So it's all good. But, you know, this has been a great conversation, and we're coming up on the end of our show for this week. And I want to leave you with a little humor for your mental wellness. And since it's Valentine's Day, let's go over a Valentine's joke. So here we go. A husband gave his wife a cannoli for Valentine's Day. His wife said to him, "What's with the cannoli?" He replied, "Can only have eyes for you." Oh, okay, all right. That's your Valentine's Day joke. Okay, great. Okay. Hey, listen, this has been wonderful. Thank you, Brenda and Rosie, for joining us today and sharing your expertise. Also, thanks to our listening audience. Also, a shout out to Darrell Bullock and the Sioux City Inspection Department All-Stars, Dave Hobbs, Shannon Christensen, and Kevin Knudsen. So, if you have a problem, who are you going to call? Whoops, they don't do ghosts. So, we're looking to grow our family. Looking for a change? Check out our employment opportunities at hr@bghome.net. We'll be back next Saturday morning at 7 right here on 1360 AM, 94.9 FM, KSCJ, and we'll discuss the lifespan of attention deficit disorder, also known as ADD. Don't forget to do your homework this week and go out and have a good laugh. It's good for the soul. Have a great week, and may the sun shine on you.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Happy trails to you till we meet again.
For more information on the services provided by Boys and Girls Home and Family Services, see them online at boysandgirlshomeiowa.org. Or you can call 712-293-4700 to get more information about family services, residential treatment, the Opportunity School, the Siouxland Family Center, and more. At Boys and Girls Home and Family Services, we change lives. We change lives. We change lives.